Hey everybody, DJ Lou here, and let's talk about the 2025 Speaker Shootout. So for some years now, Ben Stowe and I have assembled with one big mission in mind. How do we put forth a test of speakers in an environment that DJs can relate to, in this case like a wedding venue and whatnot, and to be able to hear contemporary speakers and their peers in a non-crowded way. You know, you typically go to an expo, it's a show floor or some type of presentation room that's really small, and it's usually not representative of what a DJ or sound engineer would be subjected to. You know, it's just, it's impossibilities, and you just never get that sense of feeling of what you're buying and how it truly sounds. So we wanted to create that environment. And we have for some years now. In the past couple years, I think we've made even great improvements on that. And this year here in Syracuse, middle of October, we did it again at DJ's Assemble. And what I think we've put together is probably our best representation to date with some of the top speakers that are out there that DJs are considering for their environments. Now, as always, we measure these speakers via pink noise. We get them all at the same level, and to put together a number of songs that people are familiar with but are mastered very well.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
And what we end up doing was playing between an 8-second loop to about a 13-second loop, and we would cycle through each speaker. There was a couple times where we checked something on the back of speakers and maybe one song got played one additional loop, but we try to keep it very precise and very consistent throughout. I did actually have some comments this year. I had one particular country song that people said it sounded kind of muddied throughout. But the reality is, you see this collection back here and all of my collection are FLAC rips. For those who don't know, FLAC is a lossless file. It is compressed, so it's a little bit smaller than, say, a WAV file, but it's not lossy like MP3, so it is as close to the original recording as possible. So even if you're hearing something you say, oh, you know, that might be mastered kind of high, you know, it's sounded kind of mushy, has nothing to do with what I specifically did to the song. It's how it actually was ripped from those CDs or an equivalent. And there's the songs in general. And I wanted, again, to make sure that they were of the highest quality. We, of course, also had a display right in front of us showing which speaker was being played. And that's actually the numbers that you see on the top. People started getting used to which number in which slot that they were, you know, considering. And I really want to stress also, even for us, we mixed it up a little. We didn't put things in specific order of like low scale, high scale. We even mixed intentionally a couple connections up just so there would be less like, I know what this is, even from our operations. Now, we did not judge ourselves. Ben and I, we're kind of behind the scenes and everything anyways, but we did have 23 participants bring in their thoughts, and there's also notes as well that they could run. And all of these scores are an aggregate of what came through the night. One additional thing here, this is all a blind test. So I got acoustically transparent fabric, we hung it from the beams in the room, and we did a big reveal in the end, but nobody knew, other than we initially announced that the first 4 speakers were going to be the battery class, and then the rest, we weren't going to tell them anything. We wanted them, again, to listen with their ears, not their eyes, and any preconceived notions. So our first group here is represented by the batteries. There was also the Pioneer Wave 8. Unfortunately, and I will fall on my sword on this one, it had powered itself off, and I didn't know you actually had to hold 5 seconds to reset the power on it. It seemed like it wasn't working. We took it out of the running at that point, but we do have, in this case, the JBL Eon 1, the eVerse 8, and the eVerse 12. Now, what's interesting in this, we see the eVerse 12 was the victor here, but what's interesting here is I threw all the songs from EDM to jazz at these speakers. Now, in a prior show that we did, I actually only really did what I would consider cocktail and dinner vibes. Figured that this was the most typical use case for these speakers, but hey, when in Rome, we already had these all together. And in this case, especially with this compression driver, the eVerse 12 definitely took the cake on this. But the eVerse 8 is no slouch by any stretch of the imagination. So in this second group, this is the battle of the quote-unquote small columns, in this case the Evolve 30 and the Maui 11 G3. The G3 definitely took the victor here, I think because of its lower end presence. Now in this grouping, this is the whole enchilada. This is everything from the brand new QSC KC12, the Evolve 70, the Evolve 90, the RCF 14A and 15AX, and even older entries like the Maui 44 G2, the 28 G3, in the Evolve 50 as well. A whole host of different price ranges and some different sub sizes as well. Now, some may say that this is an improper classing of the speakers, and I want to say why we did this specifically. We have seen through some time now that people that are considering column arrays are considering a wide range of price options, and that of course includes also size and weight and things of that nature. And with that, we decided, you know what, because some people are considering, say, the Evolve 50, and then the Evolve 70, the Evolve 90, and even things like the RCF 14A and 15AX, all as a single consideration, why not just offer the entire cadre in front of them? They are close enough, especially in the levels that we're playing music, that they can at least judge the tonality, the bass response, and things of that nature. So with all that in mind, the Evolve 70 definitely was the victor here, but only by a little bit because the RCF 14A and 15AX came in a very close second. So this is the final group. This is the cabs over subs. Now the RCF rig, its new 19-inch sub with the 910 top. What can I say? It sounded amazing. That Koa was no slouch. 21-inch sub was definitely kicking. And then Tony Fernandez personally brought in his Martin rig. I still think competed quite well in its category, but the RCF definitely just had, again, a musicality and a brightness behind it. In total, I want to say the entire shootout lasted about 50 minutes, and also we offered the ability to compare directly after we did the big reveal a specific song if somebody had that requested, 50 versus 70 directly, 70 versus the 14A and 15AX, whatever somebody had in mind. But ultimately, after that, we adjourned back to the expo. So, tell me, is that what you expected from all those groups? Any surprises there? Some surefire things? Let me know in the comments, and of course, like and share this. As always, stay tuned for more.